Hello and welcome to another Let's Play or quick side play. Yeah, me, Gamble6, Sanctuary. Before we start, if you're interested in playing this game, you can get it for free on itch.io. But if you want to support the people that make this game and or get the news version earlier, then you can go to their Patreon. It's $5 a month. So, on the last Let's Play, the guy whose name I butcher, Prince, went to do his test, which consisted of a non-magic fight with a, low-level guy-ish, a magic fight with him, and then a middle fight with a raccoon assassin, which was, I guess, the mid-level guy, maybe. At which point, we went to go wait for the results while selling some stuff for cash, and then came back to find out his rank is, drumroll, silver, not gold. Why did he not get high? Well, it's because there's a secret extra part of the exam, which is not being a jerk. Because Rangativurk, or whatever his name is, was kind of, I wouldn't say mean, just, not nice. Because, hey, when you're doing quests, you want to have a decent amount of rapport with the client. Or, not be mean. But anyways, yeah, we're going to be going to do adventures, and then there's this guy. So, we're going to reset our face. And continue. Thing? Yes, sir. We have no clue. How fun. I wouldn't recommend thinking too much about it. You are busy. Inform the ministry. I want the records. At first I was like, does he have a beak to his head? Feathers. But then it's like, this could also be a phone or something. Now you're wasting my time as well. Okay, I guess it is a beak. I have no good reason. Come on, don't be so cruel to me. He hung up. 2 days of walking through the vast forest, searching along the blurry boundary between forest and mountains. It's a mine. A mine. Or they called it a mine. But you get to the promised cave. A unique sweet and sour smell of large, ore-laden caves is obvious from the entrance. There's no mistaking it. Sweet and sour smell. Are we mining for chicken nugget dip? Or, what was that stuff for, crab rangoons? God, I'd murder crab rangoons. Anyways, but with the sky already at an orange hue, it seems like harvesting can't wait for the morning to come. Your wolf companion is also aware, and he lets out another soft sigh. You have heard countless times on the trip, or when you have heard. He has been quiet since the beginning of the journey, troubled by thoughts, as the reality truly dawns on him. The reality where his birthrights are replaced by his new identity, one where roads aren't paved, and making any progress is tiresome and impeded by bureaucratic nonsense. For these 2 days, you've been giving him the space he needs, though he can't stop thinking about the time when he can find true acceptance. About the time, when he can finally dispel the mysterious fog around him. And inside the small camp, amid the lonely scenery of rocks and trees, is as good as opportunity you can give him. Seems they must make camp here tonight for our sake. And sorry, all of a sudden, I hate reading yawns. They're a pain in the butt. Also reading tiredness. Also reading dyslexia. Or dyslexia? Would you kindly set up a booth at both our camps? I shall go gather firewood. Sure. He removes his camping supplies from his backpack and lays them down on the ground for easy access. Then he walks outside in search of fuel, vanishing back into the woods. I mean, it could be a waste of magic, but couldn't he just create firewood? You first set up the area kicking loose rocks away to make a cap more comfortable to sit on. Damn it, reading yawns. Using some of the heavier stones, you pin the tent in place. It took you what felt like a half an hour, but it is relatively easy work. The weather is cool and pleasant, and it's comfortable sitting here and relaxing while you wait for the woof. Looking outside, the moon gradually appears above the sky. The bright full moon, occasionally hidden behind tree trunks and scattered clouds, but otherwise perfectly visible. The moonlight illuminates the prince's return, highlighting his physique, as well as an armful of dry logs. I took the liberty to harvest some extra berries to accompany our awfully uninspiring rations. He excused himself for taking so long and laid down some of the firewood in one spot, then lit them ablaze with a small bolt of fire generated from his magical staff. Hey, it's the intro thingy. The muscular wolf sits down next to you, staring at the lit campfire, emotionless and still. What an odd question. Like, is there something I should know, Ran? Or, now's the best time to confess everything. It's like, what do you mean confess? I guess we'll choose that one. Seems the most middle of the road. Is there something I should know, Ran? There is Izo. Is it just so difficult? I apologize, truly. Expected anything but this. She seems unready still, but mentally braced himself to reveal something significant. I do not belong here. Rignor does not belong here at all. Who's Rignor, or what? The city? I was expelled from my kingdom, banished from my realm, betrayed, forsaken. And, with the essence of nature so foreign in this world, it's a miracle I still retain some prowess. The essence of nature so foreign in this world. What does he mean? So much slipped out of my control all of a sudden, and now, not even I know how long this will take. I kept it vague, for I did not know how to tell you. I do not know how to face this myself. Unlike his usual polished speech of exceptional extravagance, the relation was simple and articulate. A revelation. Behind the stern and composed words, as genuine emotion of loathing, mournfulness, and guilt. For the first time ever, he seems vulnerable, it being with emotions, rather than an overtly tough prince, barricading every sign of weakness. And now, as I've surmounted my single largest insecurity, telling you the details will finally not be difficult. Regarding the background, regarding the incident, regarding the future. Okay. Oh, this is a long list of things. You come from another world? Were you isekaied? Did you really come from another world? Indeed. I suppose that doesn't harm your understanding of this world, of the world. Quite so. I know that other worlds or planes exist, but yeah. To be fair, we're not a different species from a separate evolution. Our genetics were roughly just around 120 years ago. Our genesis? What is Genesis? A powerful wolf kind who single-handedly created the kingdom, the royal family, and its servants. Creating people? How's that even? Is honestly beyond my knowledge. He created scrolls of wisdom that shaped our very understanding, and of course, it included logs of his actions. Those records are not complete, however, We lack details as to how he gave rise to everything, or how he himself came to be. All that we know is that we are somehow created from him, and that a most diluted presence of his blood in any royal newborn grants immense potential. I take it you used your potential to master druidcraft, given that you're also a prince? I do not simply dismiss my effort, but that's true. No, I do not simply dismiss my effort, it's true. How large is the kingdom? How large is the kingdom? I can approximate the population of around 800 people. Yeah, not really a kingdom. 800 isn't a huge amount. It is for a secluded kingdom in a huge forest. It is also steadily increasing, which should indicate prosperity. We also need to keep this meticulous balance between consumption and production to keep the rest motivated. So this place is completely isolated from the rest of your world? Yes. The forest was so far seemingly endless as we expanded our territory. Without connections to other civilizations, our king ruled over our people and led an orderly domination. Sounds like a paradise, if it is indeed handled nicely. Alas, I would not be here if that were the case. What's so special about your world? What's so special about the world you're in? It never occurred to me that our world was so vibrant. Until I got sent away. The nature was bustling with life, and even the air itself was lively. Could that just be you blaming the world as you lost your power? You could see it that way, but I personally believe that the opposite is true. Only due to the world's atmosphere being so stagnant did I lose most of my power. Yeah, sure. Still not very sure how it works. He frowns and attempts to think of an example. Imagine gardening. You gain most of your yield by providing optimal conditions to vegetations. If you fail, you cripple the function of the plants, as well as your own harvest. For a divination of magic fathoming nature itself, one of the conditions is staying in the same world. I still don't get it. I get it. What are the other royal members like? Quite kind of you to ask. There are direct blood relatives of our Genesis, and they are promoted peasants? I assume you'll know only the prior. Yep, I'm a bit curious about the peasants too. He looks at you and squints, as if he said something unbelievable. They are great at their assigned role, but that is the single most remarkable thing about them. As such, I do not recall their names, or notable features at all. Not a single one of them? No. That's a little narcissistic, dare I say it? In my defense, our king decided on strict rules and guidelines for us nobles, especially for his blood relatives. He softly coughed, returning to the main topic. But I can provide you a lot more context for June nobles. The most important figure, Traversleith, is the present king of Vergrar. Fairly old of age, but his will is still untarnished. He passed his bloodline down to 4 sons, each naturally gaining the title of prince. The first was Prince Charex, who was a great friend of mine. He had a splendid but rather reckless personality. He passed away at a young age of 15 to the dismay of most. The second born is Your Royal Highness here present, Prince Rangativurk. The third born is Prince Raziel, who was so introverted and uninterested in royal matters that he almost aligned with the peasants. The last was the traitor Narvolver, who committed the sacrilegious crime to target and harm one's own brother. He sees the struggle in your face and memorizing the names and chuckles. You don't have to memorize names. Except mine, of course. Consider this backstory of a tale. One that will continue in blood. Is there a reason for the long name? Is there a reason for yours? It seems that making lighthearted remarks is an art more complicated than I expected. Oh, I thought you would insult my name instead. For your question, yes. In fact, every member of the noble blood had their name given from seers. Tell me more if you're comfortable with it. Seers are those who study magic of the future. We recruit them to glimpse into the future that surrounds every royal newborn, and design a name in our tongue that encapsulates their pinnacle. For sowing destruction and attaining greatness, I would say that the complexity of my name is well justified. Do you really just say that you're fated to bring destruction? That was indeed a major concern, but the seers could not determine the nature of its destruction. It could be a pragmatic solution for an honorable cause, so worry less over it. It could be kind of like the death card, you know? How strong were you before? That I can gladly answer. Instead of struggling to maintain control over roots now, I could summon packs of wolves to my aid. Which would be kind of weird thinking about that, you know? It'd be like me summoning, well, like a human summoning quadrupedal lesser humans? I don't know. I could also call forth whirlwinds of bolts, and lightning. It baffles me that you can speak of a sort of mastery so calmly. How long have you been learning this druid magic? Starting from the age of 4, so 22 years. Since 4? That's a lot of dedication. You are required to utilize our gift through constant pursuit, so dedication isn't exactly a word. There's a reason the king is enforcing that on us, but that story is for another day. Anyways, I just happen to be fortunate enough to still enjoy improving my druidry. So, how can you possibly achieve even more? Do you imagine that I would not be putting the title of Archdruid to my name if I were allowed to? Fair point. You aren't the humble type. I would say I'm not far from that title. Was not that far from the title. During the incident. What were you doing before you were ambushed? Hunting. More precisely, it was early in the morning, surely after my fair first meal. I had some business to attend in the afternoon. My schedule was clear until then. I thus decided to fill my space with a leisurely hunt. I suppose this coward planned this for a while, to find me in my weakest without any witnesses, as he was not supposed to gain access to the same region I was in. A dirty tactic for sure, but it was effective. You could say that. He only quietly growled to himself in an unbiased statement. Tell me what happened. Thank you for asking. A part of me thought you wouldn't be interested. It'd be rude not to learn of an event so important to you. He nodded before describing the scene. My guardians and I were taking a short break from hunting activities. Not expecting any danger, I canned my kills and let my guard down. Then, disaster struck. Unfamiliar figures appeared behind the trees and bushes, outnumbering my few guards. I tried to take my staff and fight, but he appeared in front of me from thin air. He kicked me down to the ground and spoke. Queral Stalkva. A word I've never heard before, ominously unsettling, with a seemingly echoing ring lingering in the cold air. I had no time to analyze, and I tried to give his smug face a punch, but my limbs didn't move an inch. I looked down to see dark, ethereal chains bind me to the soil underneath. There was no cold sensation of metal, but the chains still tensed, with impossible force the moment I tried to free myself. The twisted euphoria on his face was not an expression of madness, but that of victory. What's up with the sudden changes and everything? Oh, and to finally see you squirm like a worm to be squashed. This unbridled joy. You spickle. He swiftly stabbed my knee with a dagger the moment he heard me speak. My suffering only delighted him further. I would absolutely die to just extinguish your flames here and now. If only the sniffer dogs wouldn't scour the entire forest for a single patch of fur of your whereabouts. So, I prepared just the perfect thing for you. Around this time, my 2 guards were roughly bound and shoved next to me in a cluster on the ground. What are you? Shh. I've heard just enough of your voice, Rad. But if you're so lucky to come back, I'll allow you to tell me the view of the foreign lands. You wouldn't. They will know of this. I'll make sure they don't. Goodbye. Jose Guitar, expeltoric. Saying another incantation, the air itself pulsed with power. A sigil then appeared on the soil beneath us. It glowed a purple, most unnatural, before the spell fully activated, with the inside sucking me into supernatural space. Then came a fall into complete darkness, broken by fragments of light, with 1,000 invisible hands pulling my body, dragging me down and away from my guards. In the end, impossible sceneries formed around me until stabilizing into that of the forest where I ended up actually being in. At that moment, I knew that this bastard had secured the victory. A victory that could not be free. That power could have cost him must have cost him something. Sorry I had to go through that. I was royalty with legions of men under my direct command. Then I lost most of everything, as easily as that. Then I lost most of my everything. You don't have to sympathize, but just imagine my struggle. From a well-respected prince to an injured foreigner, surrounded by people he only deemed lowly, tolerating insignificant interactions he'd never had to before. It makes sense why he was so reluctant to speak, and only began to form bonds as reality truly dawned on him. But even that excuse cannot fully justify his behavior. Why were you not outright killed instead? Huh? I mean, if he borrowed that power, surely he could eliminate you directly, no? If my assumption that the power came with a price is correct, then there's a simple answer. The price to completely eliminate me was so great that he'd prefer to riskier gamble of tracelessly sending me away instead. If that assumption is wrong, then I'm clueless. Are you suffering from any ill effects? No. It seems that his magic was also restrained and removed me. My knee made a full recovery, without any issue. Of course, my druidity is more limited, but I would be surprised if that was also part of his master plan. You don't know anything about the dark magic he used? Not a lot, if I must be honest. Our Genesis writings have this description of a witchcraft, which does mention the use of spell word and similar visual components, but no mention of the details, which is more than reasonable. I would not imagine our creator dabbling in such diabolical studies. Regarding the future, parallel travel complicates things quite a bit. Planar travel, to what degree? Mainly that we can't use warp scroll to get you home. You need something similar to a scroll of plane travel or something, which is probably on another level of rarity. I don't even know if it exists. Say, if you're completing more quests at even higher ranks before obtaining the scroll, is that not benefiting you more in terms of split rewards? I guess that's true, But we're talking about something like potentially 3 more years of adventuring. And you're fine with that? I have but one goal. Return to Vigronor. 3 years, 6, even decades, no amount of time will sway me from that path. Do you expect to regain your strength soon, if ever? How am I supposed to answer that? I'm unfamiliar as you in this regard. Perhaps my druidism will adapt to the dare of this world. Perhaps I'll improve with more practice, as I always have. Or perhaps I'm trapped within this pit, without a conceivable possibility of escape, and all my aspirations are doomed to rust. It is an open-ended question. Moving on. Why are you so set on returning there? The examiner back at the entrance exam did raise a good point. You could be a druid master with years of training, then you could possibly achieve even more. Yes, but I have to reclaim my throne, and this grudge is simply too great to ignore at the moment. Fair enough. A grudge makes sense, though how important is the throne to you? Very. I meant for the next kingship, which is why I'm still competing against time, to reduce the likelihood that Gunnar stealing it from me. Do you have a special bond with the people to care that much? As he questioned this relationship, tension spreads across his face. His claws scratch against the wood of his staff in his grip, betraying his unease. Might be better I ask about this another time instead. I hope I earned your trust. I have no major complaints regarding you, for now. Yes, consider yourself blessed with my trust. Stop the inquiry. Whether out of genuine interest or a gesture of kindness, he inquired about this dramatic tale's length, which he is more than glad to answer. He could sense some alleviation of stress behind those words as well. The reluctance to communicate and form a bond is gone. Yeah. Still, not the chatty type, but that is likely only personality. I cannot obligate you into aiding me in the long term, given the uncertainty surrounding my predicament. It is, however, factual that completing expeditions with me brings you significantly more fortune, and I would enjoy your supervision until my understanding of this world is more sound. Would you mind staying with me for the time being? He stated, very matter-of-factly, without emotions, giving you no pressure to comply. Helping him is the optimal choice, without a doubt, but what matters is your stated intention. At first I was like, this one? I don't know, and there's like, okay, going for this one. I don't mind being your ally until things get too dangerous for my own good, which, fair enough, I guess. You're too kind. He looks in your direction, giving you a smile, with a gentle gaze at your face. You take a good look at the prince, then at the cave surrounding you. What a canny scenario you've gotten in. But such is the nature of life at this age, where twists and opportunities emerge from every corner. Satisfied with your answer, the prince searches his bag for his rations for the night. Laying down, eating utensils and quality preserved food, he catches you looking at him. Let us share. Alas, I have been curious about how that indestructible block of biscuit tastes, ever since you have informed me of its existence. He turns to face you as he presents the berries and rations to you as well. And with that, scene changes us hitting 30 minutes. Might be a good time to call it. You spend the rest of your night sharing meals in peace. Okay, yep, that's the end of the thing. Hyena. Like they said, it was 2 hours, which pretty much on the dot right there, because it was like, what? the hour-long quick look, give or take, and then the last quick play in the next one stuff. So that's going, yeah, that's gonna be then with this thing. So please comment, cause I like comments, if you like, dislike, tips, tricks, otherwise. If you like my YouTube and would like to see it grow, then please like, subscribe, and check out other videos too. Have grown, please remember spending your animals help control the pig population. And if you don't play this game, it's available for free on itch.io. But if you want to support the people that make this game and or get the news version earlier, you can go to their Patreon, where it's $5 a month. And until next time, let's play, or side play, furry visual novels, me, Yaml6 is some of the game. So thanks and see ya.